What's up, Switch? I'm Jeremy, and I'm so excited you are back for week 2 of Overrated. So last week, we found out some of your favorite things. This week, we want to see if you can do it again because we want to know a little bit more about you. On the count of 3, I want you to tell me what is your favorite dessert. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's try this again. Now, everybody competes. On the count of 3, I want you to yell out your favorite sports team. 1, 2, 3. All right, sounds good. Last one, third time's the charm. On the count of 3, I want you to yell out your favorite type of soda pop. 1, 2, 3. Good. Once again, we can see that you all have favorites. We all have favorites. We all have things that we would rate higher than other things. And because I rate something high doesn't mean you would rate something high. In fact, we understand that in life, some things are overrated. As a kid, if you would have asked me who is the best basketball players in the world, I would have said Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and my dad. Now, I know you're probably thinking, my dad's overrated. But as a kid, for whatever reason, he would always beat me. I can remember being up like 49-0, and he would always come back and win. There was something he would do, and he would always say the same thing after he beat me in a game. Jeremy, you think you can win, but I know I can win. And I could not figure out why does he always win until my freshman year of college. You see, my freshman year of college, I was on the college basketball team, which meant that every day I would play basketball for 3 hours. Then I would go to dinner, and after dinner, I would go back to the basketball court and I would play for another 3 hours, get up the next day, repeat. And so when I went home my freshman year for Thanksgiving and my dad challenged me to one-on-one, I was up for the challenge. Not only did I beat him the first game, the second game, the third and the fourth game, I beat him 8 straight games. I dominated him. My dad thought he could beat me, but I knew I could beat him. What was the difference? The amount of time I invested. If you were here last week, we kicked off a series called Overrated. And as we all know, there are some things in life that are overrated. In my opinion, there are things that are overrated. First thing, oscillating fans. You know what I'm talking about? A fan that goes like this and turns like this and goes back and forth. So you're either sweating to death or you're freezing to death. Overrated. Another thing that I think is overrated is car shades. You know what I'm talking about? The things that people put into the windows to keep their car from getting hot. Whose car needs sunglasses? They're overrated. And probably one of the most overrated things, and some of you guys are going to disagree with me, is body hair. Now, the reason I say that is when I was growing up, my mom would always say the same thing. Hey, Jeremy, eat your green beans. It'll put hair on your chest. And so my whole life, I was eating all these greens, all these vegetables, because I wanted to put hair on my chest. Especially when I got to junior high and I realized everybody else seemed to have a little bit of hair in their armpit and I didn't. So I ate my vegetables. I prayed my prayers and I took my vitamins like Hulk Hogan would. And I remember thinking, God, just give me one little hair. But now, as an adult, I shave my armpits. Why? Body hair is overrated. Now, if you were here last week, we talked about things that are a little bit bigger when it's overrated. Yeah, body hair, things like that, that's fun. But what happens when it's something that's important or something that you believe? What happens when the thing that is overrated is connected to God? And last week, we looked at trying to be like Jesus is overrated. This week, I want to take it a step further. Here's what you need to know. Spending time with God is overrated. Now, just quick poll, raise your hand if this is true for you. How many of you think that spending time with God is overrated? Raise your hand, don't say anything. Look around, look at all those people. It's interesting. Not a lot of hands went up. None of us would say that spending time with God is overrated, but sometimes based on how we live, our lives say that. So let's play a quick game of tell the truth or burn a lake of burning fire. All right, so ready? Here's how the game plays. How many of you, be honest, have spent time with God every day this month? Raise your hand. Not every hand went up. which is interesting. Why is that? Let me tell you the reason that most of us don't grow spiritually. The first one is we don't know how. The second would be this: we think it is overrated. We don't think it will work for us. We don't see the value. And because we don't see the value, we don't give it time. Or maybe we give our time to things that we think are more important, or to things that just may be more urgent. So who or what in our lives is more important than God? I heard a guy named Louis Giglio say this. He said, if you follow the trail, you'll find a throne. So it's sort of like the Wizard of Oz and following the yellow brick road. And what he means is, if you follow the trail of your time, you're gonna find a throne. If you follow the trail of how you spend money, you're gonna find a throne. If you follow the trail of things you post about on social media, you're gonna find a throne. And whoever or whatever sits on that throne, that's the most important thing. That's the thing that you worship. If you're like me, it's not that I believe something is more important than God, but I just seem to let what is urgent replace what is important. There's a story in the Bible of a woman named Martha who could relate. If you have a Bible, turn to Luke chapter 10, starting verse 38. And it says this: as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister, Mary, sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. And she came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. There's a difference between what is important and what is urgent. And Martha was doing all the urgent things. Being a good host was good. But as we'll see, Jesus wasn't as concerned with her work and her time. Jesus was more interested in her heart and their relationship. Listen to how Jesus responded. He said this: my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. God's not interested in your spiritual life. God is interested in all of your life, all of it. Newsflash, we just need to pay attention.
It was an accident waiting to happen, an open sewer manhole, and a girl who was walking and texting.
Now a city department has a lot of explaining to do, and CBS 2's Dave Carlin reports.
It was like something out of a movie.
Sliced and bruised is 15-year-old Alexa Longuera, whose sidewalk tumble into an open sewer Wednesday night is stirring up a city investigation.
This stupid mistake, that careless mistake, I got hurt, you know?
They are a pair of workers with the City Department of Environmental Protection who pulled the cover off the sewer on Victory Boulevard to flush it out. Alexa's angry mother, Kim, calls what happened next criminal.
It was opened, the truck was parked behind that pole, and they walked a good, 10, 15 feet at least, to go get the cones.
And left it open.
Right. Cone should have been here first.
Alexa, who was walking to the store with a friend, felt the earth move suddenly. Everything was dark and smelly.
It was just really gross and it was just shocking. It was scary.
Alexa admits this is what she was doing, texting while walking, and she did not notice the open manhole cover. Down she went 5 feet into the muck.
It was over my head.
She says an apologetic DEP worker helped her get out. She went to the hospital, and the city opened the investigation, issuing this statement: we regret that this happened and wish the young woman a speedy recovery.
Regardless if I'm texting or not, like if there was cones there, I'm going to see a big orange cone.
The family may sue the city. Medical bills are mounting, and Alexa lost one shoe.
Do you want that shoe back?
No, I could just stay there.
Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
You know why so many of us miss Jesus or fail to spend time with him? Because we don't slow down. We don't look up. We don't pay attention. There's a difference between what is urgent and what is important. And you have to figure out which one is overrated.